Tutankhamun's mask is an icon. And I think part of it is because it is made of solid gold, and a lot of people get wowed by that.
For over 100 years, the iconic face of King Tutankhamun has been seen as the ultimate symbol of ancient Egypt. That golden mask, instantly recognizable, was believed to have been crafted specifically for the young pharaoh. But what if that long-held belief isn't entirely true? Recent investigations using advanced scanning techniques have uncovered surprising details beneath the mask's surface. Tiny inconsistencies, subtle changes, and traces of something that may have been intentionally hidden. This isn't just another archaeological update. It hints at a mystery buried for over 3,000 years. When Tutankhamun's tomb was discovered, it stunned the world. Inside were incredible treasures, golden chariots, elaborate jewelry, statues, and a magnificent throne. Yet, among all these wonders, one artifact stood above the rest. The Golden Death Mask. About 21 inches tall and weighing more than 22 pounds. It's crafted from solid gold and decorated with precious stones like lapis lazuli and turquoise. To the ancient Egyptians, this wasn't just decoration. It had a sacred purpose. Gold was believed to be the flesh of the gods, and the mask helped guide the pharaoh's spirit in the afterlife. Without it, his soul might never find its way. For decades, the mask was seen as flawless, but early on, experts began noticing details that didn't quite fit. One major issue was time. Tutankhamun died unexpectedly at around 19. An Egyptian tradition required burial within 70 days. In that short window, workers had to prepare the tomb, craft coffins, gather treasures, and create the mask. It seemed almost impossible. The tomb itself supported this idea of urgency. It was unusually small for a pharaoh, and some wall paintings looked rushed or unfinished. Even the stone sarcophagus appeared damaged, as if it had been forced into place. Then came even stranger discoveries. Some artifacts didn't seem to belong to Tut at all. Certain statues had different facial features, and some jewelry appeared to have been made for a woman. When experts took another look at the mask, they noticed something unusual. The ears were pierced. In ancient Egypt, pierced ears were typically associated with children or women, not adult male pharaohs. There were other subtle clues too. The facial features looked softer, almost feminine, and the gold on the face had a slightly different tone compared to the rest of the mask. This led to a bold theory. What if the mask wasn't originally made for Tutankhamun? What if, due to time pressure, it had been repurposed from someone else? One name quickly entered the conversation: Nefertiti. A powerful and mysterious queen who vanished from historical records. Some believe she may have ruled as pharaoh under a different identity. Could the mask have originally been hers? For years, this remained speculation. There was no safe way to test the theory without risking damage to the priceless artifact. Then, unexpectedly, an accident changed everything. In 2014, during a routine cleaning, the mask's braided beard broke off. Instead of handling the situation carefully, museum staff hastily glued it back using industrial epoxy, causing visible damage and global outrage. The incident forced authorities to step in and bring in expert conservators. Among them was German specialist Christian Ekman. Tasked with restoring the mask, he saw a rare opportunity to study it more closely than ever before. Using advanced techniques like X-ray fluorescence, XRF, his team analyzed the mask's composition at a microscopic level. This method allowed them to examine the exact makeup of the gold. If the mask had been modified, if parts had been replaced or reshaped, the scans would reveal differences in the metal or signs of joining. After months of careful analysis, the results were finally clear. The structure of the mask showed no evidence of major alterations. The gold used in the face and the rest of the mask was consistent, suggesting it had not been pieced together from different sources. Even so, the mystery hasn't completely disappeared. While the scans ruled out certain theories, the unusual features, the pierced ears, the delicate face, still raise questions. Was the mask always intended for Tutankhamun, or does it still carry traces of a deeper story? One thing is certain, even the most famous artifact in the world can still hold secrets waiting to be uncovered. The results were a perfect match. Every part of the mask came from the same source of gold. That slight difference in color people had noticed? Just lighting. Or maybe a deliberate artistic effect. Then came the hieroglyphs. The name of Tutankhamun appeared to be original, with no signs of another name being erased or replaced. But the most convincing detail was something almost no one had focused on before: the delicate blue glass stripes around the eyes and across the headdress. These tiny decorations are incredibly fragile. If the mask had been altered using extreme heat, over 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit, it would have shattered or melted instantly. But they were flawless, untouched. That detail alone led to a powerful conclusion. The mask had been crafted as a single piece, specifically for Tutankhamun. So, what about the pierced ears? Christian Ekman suggested it was simply a stylistic choice, or maybe a leftover feature from when Tut was still a child. With that, the mystery seemed solved. The theory that the mask originally belonged to Nefertiti was essentially dismissed. The official story became clear. Ancient Egyptian artisans were just that skilled. In just 70 days, they managed to create one of the most perfect gold masterpieces the world has ever seen. Ekman's team carefully removed the damaging epoxy and, in a fitting nod to ancient methods, reattached the beard using beeswax, the same natural adhesive the Egyptians themselves would have used. The mask was restored, the case was closed, or so everyone thought. For years, that explanation was accepted everywhere, from museums to documentaries. But not everyone was convinced. A small group of scientists and historians couldn't shake the feeling that something still didn't add up. The rushed 70-day timeline, the unusually small tomb, the reused burial items, and most of all, the pierced ears. The explanation that it was just a style choice felt incomplete. The issue wasn't Ekman's findings. It was the limits of the technology. X-rays and XRF scans are powerful, but they mainly reveal density and composition. They can show cracks or different materials, but not the full history of how the metal was worked. What if the ancient craftsmen were more advanced than we assume? What if they used the exact same gold to fill the ear holes? What if they erased the original name and recarved a new one without adding any new material? What if they joined pieces so perfectly that even microscopic seams were invisible? Traditional scans wouldn't catch any of that. To uncover something like that, you'd need an entirely new kind of technology. And that's exactly what appeared. A breakthrough called quantum resonance imaging, QRI. Unlike standard imaging, this doesn't just capture a surface view. It sends controlled quantum particles into the object, reading how individual atoms respond, like a microscopic sonar system. This allows scientists to build a 3D map, not just of the material, but of its entire history, how it was heated, shaped, cooled, and altered over time. In theory, it could detect changes at the atomic level, even seams just a few atoms thick. A secret research group, operating under the codename Project Osiris, was granted rare permission to test this technology on the mask. Funded privately and approved by Egyptian authorities, their goal wasn't to uncover secrets, they just wanted to test their machine. In late 2024, after hours inside the Grand Egyptian Museum, they began the scan. The machine hummed quietly as it analyzed the mask, layer by layer, atom by atom. At first, everything matched previous findings. Nothing unusual. Then the scanner focused on the cartouche, the oval containing Tutankhamun's name. The first data came through. The lead researcher froze. What they were seeing wasn't just unexpected, it was impossible. The quantum scan didn't just question earlier conclusions, it completely overturned them. For the first time in over 3,000 years, the true story hidden within the gold was being revealed. The first shock came from the face itself. The scan detected what scientists called thermal ghosting, a molecular signature showing that the gold around the edges of the face had been exposed to a different heat pattern than the rest of the mask. Ekman had been right that traditional soldering would damage the glass, but this wasn't traditional. The ancient craftsmen had attached the face from behind using a high-pressure heating method that left no visible trace on the surface. To the naked eye, and even to X-rays, it looked perfect. But at the atomic level, the stress patterns told a different story. The face had been replaced. Next came the ears. While earlier scans showed solid gold, the quantum imaging revealed something astonishing: two perfectly shaped cylindrical plugs. The original pierced holes had been filled using gold from the exact same alloy, then hammered and polished so flawlessly that the seams became invisible. Until now. The quantum scan picked up subtle differences in grain and density. The ears had been altered, but the most shocking discovery was still to come. The name. X-rays had shown only Tutankhamun's cartouche, but the quantum scan looked deeper, into the atomic structure beneath the surface. There, it detected signs of intense mechanical alteration. The gold in that area had been hammered, flattened, and reworked in a way completely different from the rest of the mask. The original name hadn't just been replaced, it had been erased, beaten out of existence. And now, after thousands of years, the truth was finally starting to resurface. But there was one final twist, something even more unbelievable. By analyzing the faint, almost invisible traces left behind from the original carving, the microscopic marks from ancient tools, the system was able to digitally reconstruct what had once been engraved on the mask. It was like bringing a lost voice back from silence. The team initiated the reconstruction. Slowly, the original hieroglyphs began to form on the screen, and what appeared changed everything. It wasn't the name of Tutankhamun. It was Nefertiti. That name is widely believed to be the royal throne name used by Nefertiti when she may have ruled as pharaoh. This was the breakthrough, the undeniable evidence, the moment the theory stopped being speculation and became something much bigger. The scan didn't just reveal a detail, it told an entire story. When Tutankhamun died unexpectedly, there simply wasn't enough time to prepare everything for his burial. 70 days wasn't enough for something this grand. Meanwhile, powerful figures, possibly his successor, were already claiming the best tombs and treasures for themselves. Faced with pressure and a ticking clock, the priests had to act fast, so they turned to what was already available, a royal burial mask, originally made for Nefertiti. In a rush, they began altering it. Her pierced ears were carefully filled with matching gold. A new face, crafted to resemble the young king, was created and seamlessly attached. And her royal name? It was hammered down and replaced with his. All of it done with such precision that, for over 3,000 years, no one could detect the truth. Today, the mask sits in a museum, admired by millions as the face of Tutankhamun. But now, the story behind it feels very different. It's no longer just a masterpiece. It's a silent witness to a moment of urgency, power, and hidden history. And it raises a bigger question. How many solved mysteries are still hiding secrets, waiting for the right technology to uncover them? What do you think about this discovery? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you're into uncovering hidden stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible secrets from the past. And if you think that's where the story ends, it actually opens up even deeper questions. Because this discovery doesn't just change what we know about Tutankhamun, it forces us to rethink the entire royal timeline of ancient Egypt's most mysterious era. Think about it. If the mask truly began as a masterpiece created for Nefertiti, then her disappearance from historical records might not be a mystery at all. It might have been intentional, a deliberate erasure. Some historians have long suspected that after the reign of Akhenaten, Egypt went through a period of political chaos. Religious beliefs were shifting, power was unstable, and rulers were being replaced or even removed from history itself. Names were scratched out. Statues were destroyed. Entire identities were rewritten. So, this might just be the beginning. Because if one of the most studied artifacts on Earth can still hide a secret this big, what else is out there? How many other relics are quietly holding on to truths we haven't yet discovered? The past isn't as settled as we think. And sometimes it just takes the right tool to make history speak again.